call to order the town board. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee McKinney?
Here.
Trustee Deteen?
Here.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Chairman Neal?
Here. Item number 3, Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please join me? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no agenda changes this evening. So item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the public hearing held on May 15, 2018 at 6:15 p.m. and a regular meeting held on May 15, 2017 p.m. at 6:35 p.m. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Motion, second. Second by trustee Deteen. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 6 is a special presentation. Deanna is not here with us tonight. Tonight we have Michelle Crombie from United Way. I have been in a couple of meetings over the last year probably about the concept of moving forward with a 211 system across our county, and it's a lot of information, and the United Way sent a request, and so I thought it would just be better to have them come and share with all of us so we can get the same information. So welcome, Michelle.
Well, thank you for inviting me here this evening.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to share some information about 211 with you, and I hope you'll be excited to hear it as well. Okay, so I have here a couple of slides. Just to talk to you a little bit about the concept of 211. 211 is new to our community, and it's new to Illinois, newish to Illinois, but as you'll see in a few moments, it's not new to the country. So 211 is something that it is an extension of a program that we currently have, which is called Find Help Lake County. And many of you may have seen the booklets or access the online database, which basically lists a lot of different human services in the community. It's a valuable service, but it doesn't quite go far enough. Currently, Find Help connects about 35,000 individuals in Lake County every year with the services they need, but because it's online, about 11% of Lake County doesn't have any internet service, so those households don't have access to that service and therefore have limited access to or no access to Find Help. Find Help can't provide the personal navigation as either. It is simply a listing of numbers. There's no voice to talk to, no person at the end to help you work through the problems. And some of our residents really need that extra help, especially seniors or people who are just in such a crisis that they just don't even know where to even start with a problem. As a result, when people call a lot of different phone numbers, not sure where to turn, agencies end up with a lot of misdirected calls. And that forces them to take time away from the things that they want to be doing in order to answer the calls that may or may not be appropriate for them. So the slide on the top of page 2 actually shows some of the many, many types of services that are available in 211. So 211 is kind of similar to 911. It provides an easy to remember number, 3 digits, that anyone can call 24/7, 365 days a year. However, 211 focuses on the health and human services, whereas 911 obviously provides emergency services. Once implemented in a community, 211 often becomes the most well-known phone number that of any number in the, that any number that people use. You may have noticed, because we starred it for you, that disaster assistance is starred on that listing of different types of services. 211 can also be a strong vehicle to help support local emergency operations. So it can be helpful before an emergency, during an emergency, and after disasters, both natural and man-made, because it becomes a citizen hotline, a place that people can call and get information about if it's a flood, where to get sandbags. Volunteers can call that number and find out where to volunteer. It's very helpful for the emergency management operations. So what happens when an individual calls 911? Well, think about when you need help. Do you always know exactly where to call? If you have some unexpected crisis in your life, I don't always, and part of my job is to answer the phone at United Way and to make sure that I get people attached to wherever they need to go. So individuals in crisis typically aren't thinking quite as clearly, and they often call 10, 11, 12 different places just looking for the help. 211 can help those individuals find a solution in one single call, because they call this number and they get someone on the phone that can help them work through the problem. It saves time on the part of the individual who's in crisis, and sometimes time makes a huge difference. If you need help immediately, it also can help with making sure that there's not time lost redirecting calls, to make sure that when somebody calls, that they have the services that they need. And then it empowers people to take their own life into control. The referral specialist will provide referrals. They will advocate on behalf of the person. They will provide follow-up, and they will ensure that the problem is resolved. So when you call, you tell the person what the problem is, and that specialist is trained to make sure that problem is solved. And then they'll give you a call back to make sure that there was no problem with the follow-through. So it's an important service. But 211 is more than just a 3-digit number. We know that access to this critical service is of utmost importance, and that individuals want choice in how they connect. So the 211 system allows people to call. It allows people to chat, to text, and even email 211. Plus, if they want to, they can still go on the website and look it up themselves. So it's all different methods, whatever method that people feel most comfortable with. And people who are hearing or speech impaired can access this service through a 711 relay service. Information is provided in English, Spanish, and through a translation service is provided in over 140 different languages. The 24 hours ensures that there's immediate help for people when they're in need. And that's helpful because your caseworkers aren't there 24/7, and they know that even when they're not in their offices, that they have somebody who can help them take care of problems. So I'm calling your attention to the chart that is labeled Understanding Met and Unmet Needs. You can see there that one of the biggest benefits of 211 is its ability to track and report back on the community needs. Both met and unmet needs are able to be tracked through an organization called 211 Counts, and this is a website that's accessible to everyone. So it's helpful to groups like yours when you're making decisions to say, okay, well, we've had a real increase in housing needs in Zion. We need to make sure that that those needs are met, or we need to look at those needs a little bit closer. So that's helpful in making reports. It's helpful for agencies when they're writing grant requests, and it really helps in a variety of different ways to make sure that people really know what the needs are in the community. So 94% of our country already has established 211. Take a look at that map on the back page of this presentation. You'll notice that there's only 2 states that are highlighted in yellow. That means that those 2 states are the only 2 states in the country that don't already have 211 available. One of them is Arkansas, and the other one is Illinois. So I know that we don't like to be compared to Arkansas very often, but we're in the same boat with them at this point. So it's a proven value, quite honestly. In 2013, an estimated $2.38 in value accrued to society for every $1 of investment. This was a study that was done in the Twin Cities of their 211. So more than double the value. Unfortunately, Illinois only has a 20% coverage for 211, and Lake County has a 0% coverage. There's no 211 available at all. Now, United Way of Lake County understands the importance of community partnerships. We know that we can't implement this 211 alone. It is an important service. It's of a value to everyone, but we can't do it all by ourselves. So we're reaching out to county and township governments, numerous business partners, and all kinds of local funders to try to make sure that 211 actually can exist. We're tired of that 0% coverage in Lake County. So townships are an essential piece of our health and human services in Lake County. We are reaching out to build a coalition or a group of organizations that support our 211 service. Each township in Lake County has been asked to contribute an amount that's relative to the size of their population. Our coalition is growing quickly. Currently, West Deerfield Township, Libertyville Township, Vernon Township, Warren Townships are all supporting 211. Early in July, we sent out a press release recognizing the leadership of, we plan to send out a press release recognizing the leadership of all of the partnering townships. So we would love for Zion Township to be a part of that. Working together, I think that we can provide this vital service and ensure all 703,000 residents in Lake County have access to help in time of need. I think that this is very important. We hope that Zion Township will consider supporting this initiative. If possible, we'd love to have an investment of about 25 cents per resident. That's sort of just the ongoing, the kind of the amount that many other townships find acceptable. But honestly, something is better than nothing. We really, if this is too much, we just would happily accept whatever is fiscally responsible for you to donate. We feel that this is an important thing for Zion. It's an important thing for Lake County. And we also would encourage you to write a letter of support for this effort, because a letter of support helps us leverage additional funds. So we thank you for your interest in 211. We hope that you'll be able to help us in some way, either with a letter of support or some kind of financial donation. We promise that it will be worth it in the end. Does anyone have any questions for me about 211?
When 211 is called and someone's requesting a service, you connect them with another social service organization?
Right. So they would, it sort of depends a little bit on what the actual request is,
Yeah.
but it is something that we can, that the operator will be able to help them. First of all, just select what it is that needs to be solved. Sometimes, problems are huge, and they need to piece it out into small pieces, but they can give them phone numbers for referral, or they can even stay on the line and call them together if that's needed.
Sure. And how does United Way determine what organization to connect a person with?
So it depends on the need, but we have so many different organizations within Lake County, and they all have specialties and different eligibility criteria. And it's the job of the specialists who answer the phone to make sure that they know what those services are.
Organizations that have to adhere to the United Way philosophy in order to be part of it, or you just accept any social service organization and direct a person to that?
So currently, it would use our Find Help database, and currently there are some guidelines for the Find Help database. For example, a for-profit organization can't advertise in Find Help Lake County, but a nonprofit organization, as long as they are providing services in Lake County, there are really no other things that limit who can be a part of this. We want it to be as robust as possible.
I'm curious about the training I'm assuming you've already chosen a company that you'd be working with that does this?
Right. So the organization it's another United Way that actually has a very large call center, one of the largest in the country. And their people are trained in a variety of different ways. They have just training on answering calls, customer services, and those kinds of things. But they also have credentials in addiction counseling, in crisis management, and they have a variety of different credentials so that they are eligible to answer those calls. And I mean, it's not their job to be the counselor, but it is their job to listen and hear what the real problem is, and then move the person to the right resource within Lake County.
This might be too, but do you have any idea what the turnover rate is for the call center employees?
It is actually quite low. I can't quote you an exact number, but you're not the first person that's asked that. And it was, you kind of think that might be a job that would have a very high turnover rate, but it does not.
With the housing component, when people are seeking help for housing, are they vetted in any way?
So they wouldn't give you a name of an apartment to look at. They would give you the name of. I mean, usually when people call call 211. It's more, I need help to help pay for housing, or I need help to, I'm getting kicked out. What can I do for, in this emergency time?
Sure.
So it's not as much of a vetting as it is, just making sure that it's an organization. It's Health and Human Services organizations. So it would make sure that they are good and knowledgeable Health and Human Service organizations, the same ones, that you probably know about, Catholic Charities and the good organizations within our community.
Okay.
Has this been presented at the county level, or are you just doing this piecemeal by township?
We are doing it piecemeal by township. We
Is there a
have
particular reason
we
why?
have a request into the county for, and are working with them almost weekly to receive a large grant from them.
Steve Carlson is very much behind us.
Okay, Steve Carlson
He's
is,
chair of the Health and Human Services Committee for Lake County Board.
okay. Does this service in any way, is it redundant to anything that already exists?
I wouldn't say it's redundant. What Zion Township tries to be is like a local community 211. But our frustration is that a lot of times people don't know to call the township, right? So we've still got that gap in communication with that, and a lot of townships don't try and know what all the resources are. So even though we have that, a lot of the other townships don't. And then the other piece to it is, we're there from 8:30 to 4:30. So when somebody needs help, to be able to reach out to somebody and at least know where to go. There was an email, David Nagel had actually sent it to me, asking if we could create some kind of a card to help people know what the different resources were. And so we started looking through the list of resources to figure out what we could put on the card, and there's too many resources, right? So
Find Help Guide has 1,500, so I mean it's huge, the
Right.
resources that are available, and that number itself makes it difficult to go through them. But to your point, 211 can definitely, someone calls 211 and they're eligible for Zion Township services, they get Zion Township as the referral source, and then either a warm transfer or a referral to those counselors.
Well, and the key to it is to make sure that the information that the 211 system has is really specific for all the things that we can do to help, right? Because a lot of them, the townships, it'll say general assistance, emergency assistance, food pantry, but be able to, because most townships don't have where we do resource appointments, or even if they're on Social Security and they can't technically qualify for funds from Zion Township, we still sit down with them and figure out, okay, but what can we do and how can we help and how do we do those things, so.
And I think that's an important piece of what the role of the township is. And I think this might circumvent that. And if residents are not coming to the township for help, then we don't have a personal contact with our residents, which is, I think, a real benefit of the township.
Well, and I think that's why I asked about that when people, come and go, is
Right.
that once we can get them trained to understand if it's a Zion issue, then not only do they get the personal call when somebody calls, but they can get the personal face-to-face if they send them to township for the situations
Right.
that are happening.
Right, the
It's
idea is that
actually
they-
not been shown, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So basically, this is a central clearing point for people, and ultimately, they would interface with the township if the resources are
Absolutely.
appropriate.
And in fact, it may even help your caseworkers, because it allows some of those calls. I mean, I have to say, like I mentioned earlier, I sometimes answer those information and referral calls at United Way. Somebody called and asked me to change their kids' bus service. Somebody called and wanted to know, where in Lake County, Indiana, they could go for services. And I get all kinds of crazy services, and every one of those services wastes just a little bit of my time. And I know your caseworkers have the same exact thing. you know.
Well, it's our, to be clear, our administrative assistant, that's her job, right? It's to know what the resources are and help direct people in Zion to that. So it is, and that, my first thought was it's kind of redundant, and yet, if we can get people directed to the township, if you live in Zion, yes, you can go to Catholic Charities yourself, or if you want to have somebody help you, the case manager at Zion Township can do a direct connect and help you make those appointments and do those
Right.
things. So it would just, when this goes through, that's the scary part to me, because it's in Florida, is that what the call center is?
It is.
And to have somebody in Florida directing people where to go, and it's like, it's such a webbed system in our, social service community, that how do we really educate them to know?
Well, and that's a part of the training that we do with them. And we would have, United Way has a staff person that's their job. Deanna, who is going to be here tonight,
Right.
that's going to be her job when this is implemented, to interface with them, to talk with them anytime that they, I wasn't quite sure what to do with this call or where to send it. That's her job, to make sure that they know
Perfect.
the value here, and that Lake County residents also know that 211 is available. Those are her job. That would be their job.
Thank you. You're taking way more time on this than I thought, but I really appreciate you being here, Michelle. And it's
No
Michelle Crombie. She came in Deanna's place, but, so really, we have no line item for this in the budget. We have nowhere in it, but at the next meeting, I thought I would put it on the agenda and we could talk about it and see, what the thoughts are. Their recommendation is I figured it out at like 24,500 people. And so it would be $6,125 that they're requesting. Like I said, we have no line item budget, so that would be more than 10% of anything. So we'd have to redo the entire budget in order to make something like that work. But we can talk at the next meeting about what we.
And we'd be happy with,
Anything.
if that doesn't work,
Excellent.
we'd be happy to work something else out.
Okay, Thank you so much, Michelle,
Thank
for being
you
here.
for your attention, your great
Thank you.
questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7, are there any citizens' comments this evening? None. Moving on to item 8, authorize bills for payment. Trustee Deteen.
Say that again.
Trustee Deteen, itemized bills for payment.
Okay. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh,
I think you had well, let me see. I had the opportunity to go to the township offices today and met with the supervisor's assistant and with the assessor. And I respectfully ask that the bills of $66,735.22 be approved by the township board.
Second?
any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 9 is consider passing an ordinance adopting prevailing wage rates to be paid to laborers, mechanics, and other workers performing construction of public works in the Township of Zion, Lake County, Illinois. Per Chairman Neal, you have the prevailing wage ordinance that we had Carrie Lynn's office draw up because there were a number of statute changes and we wanted to make sure that we were in line with that. So that is in your packet. We don't have, there's no wiggle room, no how do you want to do it, this is it. And it's state law that we have to pass it, so it seems weird that we even need to jump through the
Why don't we
hoops.
just pass the state law and
Right, and just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
So, hearing said that, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the prevailing wage ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee McKinney, any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 10, consider approving employee handbook updates per HR consultant Rex Jones. So I had mentioned to you that with the changes that we made in January, we appointed Sandra Usher as the business manager, but the area where we were weak in was in HR. And so we contracted with Rex Jones for the HR consulting, and he went through and has done a really good audit on the files to make sure everything is up to date. There were 2 areas that he strongly recommended that we address. He went through our employee manual and I just included in the inside cover that you all looked at, all of his comments about the things that we should tweak, what seemed to go well, what he would recommend changing.
So these recommended changes are in this copy that we have?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. As well, he strongly recommend that we put in place the policy memorandums for active shooter, all the tornado drill, the different things that we would do. So he helped us to write those up and have those in place so that should anything happen, we've done that. And the next thing that we will be doing is actually putting together a schedule for training for each of these, so that not only are they, in the book, but we actually remember what they are. And so he was going to help us set that up.
What's the difference between the memorandums and the actual policy? Just because some of the memorandums are covered in the policy itself. So, I guess
So
what's
if you look
purpose
on the
of
table
it?
of contents, it just says policy memorandum.
Yeah.
And then each of the different policies or checklists or whatever it is. So this is just, it's HR, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
I read through them.
Yeah.
And
It's
they're
so,
not exactly the same. Like the memorandum is not exactly the same as the policy.
correct.
So which one prevails?
Well, I think the memorandum more covers the actual implementation. It's more of a procedure rather than the policy itself. Usually, sometimes you can have a procedure guide separate from the policy. The policy just gives the broad outlines of, this is why we're doing it. The procedure covers the how, the steps that you need to take in order to do it.
That'd be the opposite.
For example, at the AMA, we have policies on how data security is handled, but we have procedures which are separate from the policy on the actual steps that you take in those.
Do you want to give me an example?
To implement
of
Yeah,
your-
like the sexual harassment policy.
Right.
It doesn't explicitly talk about a reporting process.
Yes.
Whereas the policy is quite explicit on what the reporting policy should be.
Correct, that's in the, it's explicit, that they don't contradict each other.
Not
just-
really, they're
right.
just different.
Right, so that's what you're saying, yes, so the memorandum just makes it clear that this is our approach, and then actually in the manual, it goes into detail as to exactly how we handle it.
But very well done, and gives us a lot of information, so.
It's
Okay, Mike, were there any other, was it primarily the sexual harassment, or?
This is the kind of document that's reviewed annually, so I don't have any trouble passing this document and then, looking at it again.
Okay,
See if we
yeah.
can tweak it to make it better.
That would be wonderful. I appreciate
It's a good document as written.
Thank you.
Overall, looking at the changes that he recommended, I think it was well worth the investment. The only note that I will make is on page 2, where it says Christopher Fisher trustee. There are 3 E's on trustee.
You don't want 3 E's?
No, I think that's one too many.
Okay. You don't want to stand out?
So you might want to fix that.
Okay,
Other than
perfect.
that, everything looks fine.
Thank you. Larry liked this picture, so that was
Ah,
okay.
15 years ago.
And just to let you know, we are still working to tweak the mission, vision, values on page 20. So those will be,
Yeah.
we will be working on
Those are the
that.
kind of things
That
that
we
you could
can-
bring up, but
Right.
if it's going to be reviewed again.
Well, right, but so I'm working with the team right now on this. If any of you have any input, I would love your input on that. So, yeah, so looking to tweak that as well. So, excellent. So yes, I will pass it on to Rex. I was really impressed with how hard he worked to make this something that, I've had other townships that have asked if we can, share it with them, so. Is there a motion to approve? Oh, we already did that. No. Okay, is there a motion to approve the handbook?
So moved.
Second?
Motion second. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Hill?
Aye. Next item is consider approving summer work program bus agreement for Sherman Neal. So last year, you all remember that with the summer work program, our van was pulled off, and we were not allowed to use it anymore because the chassis had rotted and it was too dangerous to have on the road. And so we ended up having to do a lease with Enterprise, and it was really expensive to begin with, and then it was even more expensive because we needed to have more than one driver, and there's all kinds of other costs that are incurred with that. So I reached out to Matt Thornton because my father's business has a bus. Did not realize it was the old city as the bus, so it's kind of come in full circle. And we worked out a contract with Wesley Free Methodist Church, where Matt's organization is with, to lease the bus from them for half the cost. So it's a win-win situation. So I thought you would be especially proud of that.
Well, I guess I would say that the bottom of that bus is rotting out too,
Right.
so. Not sure you're gonna.
Just let me get through this year. So one of the things I am checking into, Pace does a bus leasing program, and they wouldn't lease it to me just for the summer work program. But I did reach out to the Park District and ask them if I could get Pace to like lease it to both of us, so that we could have it for the summer work program, and then the Park District could use it for the shopping and the different things that they do. So no idea how that's gonna go, but that's one of the avenues that I'm like looking at to see if we couldn't do something like that.
I think that would be very positive. Shared resources amongst taxing bodies is something that we're always striving for, so yes, good
So
luck.
yeah, wish me luck with that, so, but we'll move forward with that. So, all that said, is there a motion to approve the agreement for the summer work program bus?
I'll second.
Who gave it? Oh, okay. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 12, discussion regarding the township tax suggestions per Chairman Neal. So I have been dancing with this, Larry. I passed it to, so there is a legal firm that is suing not just townships, but park districts, libraries, saying that if they have more than 2 times their average expenditures in their balance, that money belongs to the taxpayers, but the taxpayers don't actually get it back. They get, I don't understand it. So state's attorney was working on it, and then Carrie Lynn got involved with it, and so I'm not sure where it is. I tried to get a report from her, but when I was in at the township supervisors event last Thursday and Friday, I was told that the amount isn't 2 times, it's 2.5 times.
2.5 times, right.
So at 2.5 times, we literally, the amount would be for 2012, in the Social Security Fund is what we're talking about here. We're over by $1,244.
Oh, is this suit per fund?
It's any of the, in each of the funds.
Okay.
If you have more than 2.5 times. So they're saying that at 2.5 times, we're over by $1,244.48. And then in 2014 and 15 in the Social Security Fund, we were over by $740.97. So if that's the case, our attorney fees are gonna be more dealing with this stuff than, but the attorney and this paperwork says it was two times, and 2 times is a lot more money. So I just wanted to make you aware of it. I have no idea what it is. I'm just taking it one step at a time to figure it out, but it's really frustrating. But yeah, at 2.5 times, we've never been 2.5 times close to any fund, you know, except for the Social Security, and that's because there was a point where you didn't know what that was gonna be, so.
So is this law firm or individual suing all taxing bodies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, everybody. So we got like thrown in baby with the bathwater, right? And I'm trying to say, look, I get that you think that we have all this, we don't, we never have, but it doesn't matter, you know, they're still, and I'm not sure what that is. So hoping to hear back from Carrie Lynn very shortly and just get this resolved because it's been on our plate for months and months and months trying to figure it out, so. Crazy. And so, I will let you know on that, so, okay? So, assessor's report.
3 quick things. I'll be turning my books in July 15th, which means that you'll be receiving your blue notices or assessment notices at the end of July or the first week of August. And our township factor is 7.8%, which means all commercial and all residential properties will go up 7.8% as far as their value.
questions? Okay. Thank you, sir. And last supervisor's report announcements. You have our monthly activity report in your packet, and just to share with you some of the things that are going on. This month, yesterday, we launched the summer work program. We have 33 14 and 15-year-olds. Really proud of the group. We are working with Zion Benton Township High School. They actually applied for a grant with the American Library Association, and we're doing a book study with the kids. The 3 books are Ms. Marvel, March, and They Hate You Give. And we've got Kellogg University coming out to work with the kids to do these book studies and really help them to like have a better understanding around race relations and owning their self-confidence, and really excited about that program. Deb Will's working very hard with Adriana Ortiz on that. If any of you would like to be a part of it, the mayor has a set of the books. We can get you the books, and you can come to the discussions if you would like to. We also, at the last month's meeting, we created Poverty Awareness Day next Tuesday, June 26th. And just to share with you the evolution of the project, we're starting out in the morning going and helping at Abiding Love Food Pantry. And then we're going to be going to Gorton Community Center in Lake Forest. And Gorton is finding a sponsor for the lunch. And we've got a gentleman by the name of Cedric Newburn, who is a motivational speaker. And he's coming out to talk to the kids about Choice Point. You know, right here, right now, the choices that you make will determine your the path that you take. And he's an incredible speaker. I've seen him speak. He spoke at the Boys and Girls Club. I think, were you the speaker? No, he was the speaker at when you got the award, correct?
Yes.
Really excited about that. And then they will be going to Feed My Starving Children, working there, and then coming back to Gorton Community Center and seeing a snippet of a foreign film. And then there's a student coming from Lake Forest College that is going to talk to them about her journey. She's from another country, and the journey that she's taken and what she's doing. So I'm really excited how that has really framed out to be something that can be enriching for the kids. We have a great group of kids this year. And this is the first year, so every year we do drug testing of the kids when they come into the program, and anybody that fails the drug test, we put them in the education program through NACASA so that we can help catch any problems that they have before they get bigger. And not every single kid tested negative today. We've never had that happen. So I'm really proud of that, and share that with the kids, how important that is, that choice makes such a big difference in their life. So that was a huge benefit. Also, we have Calvin King III, who is homegrown. He is going to be coming to our graduation ceremony and doing a presentation called Free Lunch Academy with a group on bullying and just the systemic bullying that takes place in the family, in the household, in the schools, to help people kind of wake up. And he's also coming. We had a misunderstanding last year, and he did a different presentation, and we weren't happy with that. And so, as to fix that, he's coming in the middle of July and actually helping to create a promotional video for our summer work kids. So it was a really good win-win end in that. So I'll be excited to share that with you. And then, just to make sure you have it on your calendar, graduation celebration will be on Friday, July 27th at 5 p.m. at the band shell, weather permitting. I would love to have all the board members there. This is a really big night, and it's something really powerful that we do as a group. I'd love to have you there. Just a reminder, passports. We are now doing passports at the Township on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We also have notary, faxing, and voter registration. And 2 quick things. I have 1.5 minutes left. ZionTogether.com, strongly encourage you guys, if you guys have the chance to go on and form a team, it has changed my neighborhood in 2 weeks. Story after story of just the different cool things that are coming from it. My team will be at the band shell Thursday night for the concert in the park with food and dancing to score the points. So that we can be in competition for the prize. So it really is a powerful opportunity, and all the information is at ZionTogether.com. 3 high school kids put it together, and really proud of them. And then last but not least, real quick, just to see, next meeting, Lloyd, as the senior trustee, I have to be in Dallas, Texas, so I'm hoping you would run the meeting. I'll make sure that it's light on the agenda. And then also, just to let you know, we're working with the Charm Foundation. Sandra and I are. on some coaching and really trying to like hone in on like what we do well and how we can do it better. And so they're doing a 360 with me. So each of you should have gotten an email about doing an evaluation. I'm begging you to be completely honest, because I love this community and I want to help lead it, but I know that there's some things that I do that get in the way of that, and I want to be able to address those. So, I believe everybody got the email. If you would be willing to take that time and complete that, it would mean everything. Is there anything else to come before the board? None? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee McKinney?
Aye.
Trustee Deteen?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Meeting adjourned.